So as soon as I can distract you from your wonderful conviviality here, we will get started. Wow. This is such an exciting day, and I want to welcome you all. I'm Nancy Gwinn, and I'm the director of the Smithsonian Institution Libraries. And it's such a privilege on a day like today to have that position. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for coming to help us celebrate this great day for the libraries, and especially for the Natural History Museum's library. Now, those of you who have been users of this library know well the space that we used to occupy, and you can appreciate what a wonderful change has been wrought, even if we did lose the windows. And Juno and her staff, together with the architects and designers, consultation with the museum's scientific and curatorial staff, and Mary Augusta Thomas and her other colleagues in the libraries have worked toward a vision that combines the best of traditional library services and collections, which are gladly still with us, with high technology and a 21st century outlook that encompasses the digital as well as the physical. Thus, we have movable furniture that we can combine and recombine to suit our users' needs for conferencing, collaboration, or quiet private study. We have cork flooring to quiet the shoes and ease the knees. We finally have sophisticated training rooms to instruct researchers, students, and interns in the library's electronic resources and how best to employ them. And I hope that you all take the opportunity to go over to our rooms where you'll see not only high technology, but some of our rare and valuable works. We have video conferencing to allow us to work more personally and collegially with our far-flung library system. We view space like this as a neutral, open, intellectual environment, and we hope that museum staff and others will take advantage of it to come together from across the building and across the mall. And as an added attraction, we'll even make coffee available. Now, to help us anoint this space, I'm most pleased to welcome Secretary Clough, Undersecretary Eva Pell, Deputy Undersecretary Scott Miller, several members of the SI Libraries Board, George Gwinn Hill here, Catherine Neville. Catherine, raise your hand. There you are. And Fred Ward. Fred, right here. And our other financial supporters and friends and colleagues from other agencies and libraries around the city. I'd like now to call on Secretary Clough to say a few words. Mr. Secretary?
Thank you very much. One of the nice things about my job is I got to go to places where people are smiling and eating and drinking and enjoying things. Last night, Cristián and others, Scott and others were with us out at Hazy, where we just opened Phase 2, which is a beautiful building and has a beautiful archive space in it, which is remarkable. So you get a chance, you want to run out and see that as well. But this is a very special time. It's amazing to me how active our libraries are these days, because some of the most interesting experiences I've had recently have been around libraries. One of the best exhibitions that we have going in American history is the pop-up books, at least in my mind, because my grandkids love them. And I Skype with all the books that I bought out of that pop-up book exhibition, and it was such a thrill, so historically informative, and so much fun. It was just a joy. Not long ago, of course, we celebrated the 10,000th contribution to the online research library, and it shows you how far our libraries have come in terms of adopting this means of reaching and increasing access to the marvelous collections that you have here. And then, of course, Nancy and Mary Augusta Thomas and I had the pleasure of being in West Palm Beach just a few weeks ago. I always try to schedule those visits in the winter. And Gus and Deanna held a beautiful dinner for us in their home and had probably 40 or 50 friends or potential friends of the library there. And Nancy gave a terrific presentation, and Mary Augusta had the rare books out and was being just covered up by all the people who were coming in and asking questions. And my job was to tell people not to take drinks in. That was all I had to do. But what a terrific event, and the excitement around the libraries. It was just an awful lot of fun. And then here we are. And obviously this represents a tremendous collaborative effort. Cristián, on his part, thinking seriously about how the libraries are the essence of really the science collections are so important to the work of the people in this museum and others, and coming together with the libraries to come together with this plan. And it's interesting as I look over the audience here to see so many faces from so many different places in the Smithsonian. And it tells you how the libraries touch so many different parts of the Smithsonian. So while this is largely about the science collection at this point in time, the fact that you were all here, I think, means more than you just thought there was something free to drink. But you're actually here because you love the libraries and you know that how important they are to us. And so it's a thrill to be here and to see this furniture that moves around on wheels and things like that. We have furniture like that in the Smithsonian, but it squeaks whenever you do it. You have some nice new stuff that moves around, so that's you have that advantage there. But that's just a terrific idea. And we all know how important the libraries are to us. They were here with us from the beginning in 1846. They have become consistently and increasingly more important to us as we go forward. And it's a thrill to see how it's evolving and taking on this new role in the Smithsonian, and will only become more important. So Nancy, thank you for your leadership. Thank you, Cristián, for your leadership in doing this, and thanks to all the great staff here in the Smithsonian Libraries. We are so proud of everything you do, and it's an honor for me to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. One could describe this library as the type specimen of our library enterprise. When this building opened in 1910, what was then the U.S. National Museum Library moved into it. Then as the Smithsonian began to set up other museums, the appropriate collections were split off and sent to join the museum's object collections and the staff. This library and the others that supplemented around the building continued to grow, however, and collectively they represent the largest and the oldest of our collections. The Natural History Library collections are the intellectual heritage of biodiversity studies, historical and current, and they fit squarely within the institution's grand challenge of understanding and sustaining a biodiverse planet. And thus it is that this library supports all of the institution's scientific programs focused on biodiversity at STRI, at CERC, at the zoo, and its Conservation Biological Institute, the Museum Support Center, and other staff around the Smithsonian and out in the field. So I'm pleased that this museum's director, Cristián Samper, has expressed his support for the library in so many ways, not the least including improvement of library spaces in the museum's master plan. Cristián, would you share with us a few words?
Thank you, Nancy, and good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to the new home of the Natural History Library. It looks great. It really looks great. I must confess, I actually snuck in here about 3 weeks ago to take a look, and it's wonderful to see this space. As Nancy mentioned, this library first came to the building 101 years ago now. Today, actually. Today is March 17th, and it's the 101st anniversary to the day of the opening of the U.S. National Museum. And when we opened, this collection moved here, much smaller, and over the years, it kept growing, dispersing to many parts of the building, and in some cases with great facilities, in others not so much. But it was fundamental to see how we could continue improving the space. And I remember we started planning this space about 7 or 8 years ago. When we were thinking about this building, one of the things I've learned in this building from people like Jerry Conlon is everything's like a domino. You know you want to get there. It takes you like 8 moves to get there. So it feels great to see this finding together in this wonderful space with this great collection. The basement also looks terrific. And of course the Coleman Library with the rare books. So we're getting all these libraries together that will serve everyone here. So it's great to see this, and of course the libraries are such a fundamental part of the museum life because of the research. Our scientists rely on the libraries all the time to be able to do our research, and our scientists have also been important contributors to the libraries. As a matter of fact, many of our great scientists have donated their personal libraries here. People like Dylan Ripley, people like Bill Sturdivant, and many others that have helped build this collection over generations. So it is testimony to generations of scientists. And although the new age always allows us to do incredible things online and digital access, I still find there's nothing like actually having a book in your hands, be able to walk through these stacks and actually being able to take random pickings and looking at some of these things, and it's really wonderful to have this. My final tribute today goes not to the collection, but to the people behind the collection and the staff of the libraries. Because of course a great library is only as good as the people that are managing it. So I want to pay tribute to you, to Anne, to Mary Augusta, and to all the people here in the library for what you do for all of us on behalf of all of my colleagues here at the National Museum of Natural History and the other bureaus. Because it is your support that allows us to do our science, our exhibitions, and so much great work. And we're delighted that we're building on this, taking us to new directions, and the other big venture that we've embarked on, I saw Tom was around, of course, are things like the Biodiversity Heritage Library, which is an extraordinary project to digitize the literature of not only this library, but other libraries, to connect it to the Encyclopedia of Life. And at last count, where's Tom? What was it, 35 million pages? Something like that. 35 million pages of biodiversity literature already online for free for anyone in the world, linked to the species. This is transforming the way we do it. It allows us to reach the world and to put our resources at the fingertips of any scientist anywhere in the world. I think that's part of what it means to be Smithsonian, and that global vision going back to James Smithson and where we started 164 years ago. So it's great to be here. Thank you for the space. We look forward to sharing with this, meetings, and also some good parties in here. Thank you all for being here.
You know, it took many, many people to come to this point. And when I asked Dan Juneau to give me a list of just the principles, it was as long as your arm. From Tom Woodward, Chung-Si Wong, Evie Euler, and it's the Office of Facilities, Engineering, and Operations. Their contractors, their cleaning staff, to Carl Taylor and his colleagues in Protection Services, to the Office of the Chief Information Officer, to the Space Saver Company, to Kathy Hill and the SI Library's administrative staff. So, it is time, I think, for some toasts. And I have a champagne glass coming to me. Thank you. First, I want to propose a toast to celebrate the wedding anniversary of our secretary today. Hear, hear. It's real commitment when you come to an event and make a speech on your wedding anniversary. Thank you so much.
It's only our 49th, so.
And I want to raise my glass especially to all those people I just mentioned and their colleagues and staff, Jerry Conlon, everybody who works at the Smithsonian, often are unsung, but come up with great and marvelous creations like this. So please raise your glass to those folk. Hear, hear. And finally, I want to propose another toast, and that is to the folks who've lived through the planning, the moving, the shelving problems, the settling in, the punch list. In other words, the stalwart staff of the Natural History Main Library. And I want you to wave your hands as I mention you. And Juneau,
Here,
over here. Director. Gil Taylor, here, attending the technology. Angela Hagens, back here. David Steer, David is here, isn't he? No, he didn't. He is so shy. Martha Rosen?
Not here.
Not here. Polly Lasker? There she is. Courtney Shaw?
Not here.
Not here. Ron Lindsay? Here. Here, where's Ron? Hey, Ron. Richard Green? Richard. And Eric French. This is the real dedicated troops who've lived in this space, who helped move, who have just had, I know Ann was pounding yesterday on people to get the pictures hung, and we are finally here today, so please join me in giving them a wonderful toast. And now I think it's time to cut the ribbon.
Those are scissors.
Wicked, wicked.
This is the dangerous part.
It's the dangerous part.
No fingers.
They all get to cut, huh?
Who's counting?
You're taking pictures.
Somebody's
We are.
1, 2, 3.